the DNA that we have, the DNA of freedom, of cultural exchange, openness, inclusion, is probably something that people want to see also, and they want to experience. Coming to Paris is meaningful. Something which is quite particular to Paris is the chic à la Parisienne, this little thing that we have, probably in terms of culture, fashion. You don't have this anywhere else.
We are the most visited country in the world. Welcome to À la Française, the podcast that shines a light on the French art of living and those who shape it. Today we're joined by Corinne Menegaux, the head of Parisian, the Paris tourist office. So hi Corinne. So let's start a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background, your family background, and where you come from.
Yeah, hi. I'm very pleased to be here with you. I'm coming from Paris, in fact. So this is the fact. I'm a real Parisian from two generations now. So that's pretty unusual, I think, finally. I think only 1/3 of the Parisians are real Parisians. The other ones are not Parisians.
Oh, yeah? That's the stat?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure of the 1/3, but I think it's approximately that number.
And you studied in Paris and you've been raised in Paris.
Everything in Paris. I raised my 3 children in Paris, so still Parisians forever.
So, one anecdote. We're now in a studio in the top of a hill called Château d'Eau, which is, I just learned it, even higher than the Montmartre hill.
No kidding.
So Montmartre is not the highest hill in Paris. It's Château d'Eau where this podcast takes place right now. You told us that you were hiking a lot, you were walking, and when you travel, you're exploring the places you're visiting by walking. Is there any walks in Paris that particularly marked you?
I would say all walks in Paris are great. So you would discover everything. So I came from Montmartre to here by foot. And so that was also the opportunity, to see the 19th arrondissement from another way, another glance. So as you were saying, you see the little houses and the promenade and everything. So that was great. So everything is great. After that, probably the quai de Seine is really a must. So I would say if I was for the first
Seine
time...
river banks.
Yeah, if you come for the first time in Paris and even afterwards, that's probably one of the best promenades that you can do. And I remember the things when I was a student, you were, having lunch or dinner or having a drink. It was not completely authorized, I think. So maybe a little forbidden, but at that time, that was not at all with restaurants or anything. So you were just on the banks and just sitting there and seeing everyone passing along and the boats and everything. That was so great.
So we're going to speak a lot of Paris today because you were born in Paris, you were raised in Paris, and you work for Paris, and you dedicate your professional life to Paris. But before we focus on Paris, tell us a little bit about some walks, as you hike a lot and you like exploring the countryside by walking. Some walks you did in areas of France outside of Paris.
Yeah, probably in the mountains. Like my family has been quite involved in Chamonix and the mountains, so I hiked a lot when I was very young with my parents and friends there. So it's always a good memory to go there and see the mountains and the Mont Blanc and everything. So that's a pretty point of view. I would say an amazing point of view. Then probably I would say in second, probably the beaches like Normandy, always a good idea anyway to go in Normandy, and I was raised also there, so my parents take me to vacation there. So the walks along the beaches in the Normandy, and especially in the winter. I don't like the summer in Normandy, but the winter in Normandy is really great.
So can you name any specific beaches in Normandy?
Well, probably Deauville, Bénerville, Cabourg, Olga, all the coast about that.
Which is so amazing. Close to Paris. Actually, it's about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half from Paris,
and with a train, so you can go by train.
By train, yeah, even easier. So about the French art of living, would you be able to define the French character of the French people?
So the flows or the qualities or both, probably.
Yeah.
Probably one of our big flows is we grumble all the time. But afterwards, we need to grumble probably to go after that to the passion that we make and we have in everything that we do. So I would say you don't have one without the other, but that's parts of the French character.
Is there any particular features? So while you defined about the French feature, any particular features on the Parisian people?
Worse.
Yeah?
They grumble a lot more.
More extreme then.
More extreme.
Yeah.
And probably something which is quite particular to Paris is probably something about the chic à la Parisienne, as we say, the elegance, or, this little thing that we have, probably in terms of culture, fashion, everything, which defines the chic of la Parisienne. We said that before, but probably this. This is different. You don't have this anywhere else, even in France.
And do you experience that in your day-to-day?
Yeah, I think so. I think we all have a style or something. So I would say, even for me, I would say I'm not very passionate about fashion or anything, but we have a specific Parisian style. And so I always wear some baskets, for instance, sneakers, sunglasses, and perfecto. And I think this is also the style that we have as a Parisian, and it's very Parisian.
Yeah. So your job is to attract people in Paris or widely in France. Well, like we said, we're the most visited country in the world, and Paris is among the most visited, most popular city in the world. How come people come so numerous to France? Is there a reason for that?
I think we've got quite a lot of diversity of experiences that we have in France. So that's a pretty amazing trip that you do when you come in France, because you can travel everywhere and have some very diversified experiences. So the wine in Bordeaux, the beach on the south coast or in Normandy, which is not the same, and then the monuments in Paris and the cultural calendar and everything. So I think this is probably one of the things that is very attractive for France. Especially for Paris, we also have probably something about, the hot topics that we have. We've got quite an event calendar, which is very, very impressive. So we welcome a lot of events. And of course, we've got also the history of France. France is also something about the DNA that we have. And probably Paris is one of the big vassals on that. The DNA of freedom, of cultural exchange, openness, inclusion, everything. And we had a good example with last summer, 2024, with the Olympics and this huge ceremony. But I think it's probably something that people want to see also, and they want to experience. So they come also here because it represents something. And so coming to Paris is meaningful, in fact. So you're coming for a reason. And that's probably one of the best things that we have in the city.
Okay, so in terms of French art de vivre, French art of living, what would be your keywords to define the French art de vivre?
I would say probably the luxury to take the time to do something. And probably also the freedom of expression and culture and being able to say whatever we want to say in the respect of the others, of course. But I think this is something very, very typical of French people, and especially in Paris.
Okay, so let's speak now about your job. When we see your LinkedIn profile, it's written that you're head of Paris Je t'aime. Well, that's a weird name for a job.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. So can you explain what is being the head of Paris Je t'aime? What is your job consist in?
Being the head of Paris Je t'aime is probably, as you were saying, is not only attracting people. So it's not only about attractiveness, even if it's one part of the job to be promoting the destination and everything. But as you were saying, it's the first destination that's visited, so we don't need so much to be publicized finally. But to me, the main jobs that we have to do is how we can engage the community of the professionals of tourism and make them work together, and being sure that everyone is giving the best notion of hospitality that we can. Because the level of hospitality, it's the professionals giving it. It's not me. So I don't see the tourists directly, but my job is probably to engage everyone, to be at the top of the experience that we can provide, to be sure that everyone is very happy with that. And probably afterwards is also to make the experience the best possible. So we're working a lot with giving the right tips to the visitors, giving them some ideas where to go, the different neighborhoods, etc., helping them to have experience and a journey in Paris to be easy, to ease the process finally. So I think this is quite a big part of the job.
So you mentioned the Olympics and how you were at the edge of the Olympics organization. I'm sure you have a souvenir that marked you during the Olympics.
Yeah, of course, the ceremony was a huge, extraordinary souvenir and memory, especially because it was raining. So we were, that was so amazing.
So where were you seated? Did you attend?
I was at Hotel de Ville on the bridge, and we were staying there. And so, that was raining so much. So I think it was really impressive to be there. But also probably the opening ceremony of the Paralympics, which was really impressive. And for me, that was probably one of the moments that was the most emotional with all the competition for the Paralympics, because everything else was great anyway. Everything was great. But seeing these people, all the work we've done in terms of inclusion, accessibility, and see the lesson of life that they're giving to us, that was really impressive, because we can stop to grumble, I think, when we see that. And so that gives hope, and that was really good.
Do you think that the Olympics changed the image of foreigners to France?
I think it probably emphasizes the image that they had. I'm not sure it changed completely, because I'm pretty sure that we had already these DNA things that we had, like modernity, creativity, everything. People were known for that, but it gives a great light on that, which was not the case before. Probably the people from outside France have seen that like an impressive operation. So that was a huge campaign of publicity, of advertising. So we were very happy with that. And people are coming for that, to see how we could achieve that, I think. So this is, once again, a way of showing the creativity of the French people, the ability that we have to deliver, because we grumble, but we deliver after that. And I think this is really the key, and we show that 100%. So that was great. But probably one of the most important legacy of the Olympics for me in terms of image is probably about accessibility, like we were saying. I was this morning at the Paralympics at the Prisme in Saint-Denis. That's a new sport center, specifically dedicated also for Paralympic.
Which was built for the purpose of the Olympics?
Exactly. And honestly, when we see actually how, and there were some children playing chair basketball, but children completely valid, but trying the thing with the chair. And honestly, I was saying I would have loved to have that when I was at school, but nobody did that before. So pretty new tendencies, I think, and that's pretty impressive to see how we changes probably the image that we have of disability, and probably goes for more inclusion. So we can be proud of that, I think.
And the Olympics actually is meant to be a worldwide celebration, but it appeared to be a gift for the Parisians.
Yeah, that was a shot of happiness.
Yeah, and the Parisians, were very critical about the Olympics at the first place, and they found out to be a celebration, an amazing celebration for them. What is the relationship between the Parisian and the tourist?
For the moment, we're quite lucky because I think people like it. So, and we have some Parisians that do like the tourism. That part's probably of the hospitality that we want also to deliver. So every Parisian has his role as an ambassador of the city and the brand and everything. We're lucky because probably the places where you got a lot of tourists are not so much places where you have residents or inhabitants. So they're quite protected finally, except for 2 or 3 places. But we're lucky to have a variety of offers everywhere on the territory and being able to go to Greater Paris. So that's quite easy to diversify the flows of the tourists finally. And probably COVID helped us also on that because when we were with no one, alone in Paris. That was great because the images were incredible, finally. Afterwards, you can say that. But at the same time, we've seen that we were missing them because it's economic flows also. It's an economic leverage. It's also a cultural leverage. And honestly, I'm a strong believer that traveling is a way of open yourself also to the others and see other things. So it's important also in our DNA of welcoming and hospitality, which is the heart of the French territory, to be able to welcome the best we can all the tourists.
The era of AI is coming. Do you think that AI is going to influence the way of people travel because they will get more knowledge? Is there a new way? Can you observe new ways of traveling since the AI is at stake?
I think it's already the case. It's been already the case for years now. So internet was already some AI, in fact. So we can say whatever we want, but it's been existing for years. So we're talking about that now because it changes a little in terms of levels. But honestly, that's already the case. So yeah, it changes, but internet changed also the way that we get the information. I think the key word is the information. So how you can get the information. The only thing that we have got to be aware of and be really careful is probably the level of information and the official information. Be sure that we give the accurate information because AI, like internet, like spread of information, is also the spreads of frauds, fake news and everything. We see that every day. So probably we've got to work on that. And that's even more meaningful for the role of the tourism office. Because if you have something signed by Paris Je t'aime in terms of information, you know that it's true and accurate. And we can just being the warrant of accurate information. And I think in this period of EI and flows of information, willing to have some official channels of information will be more and more important. And I think we've got a role to play on that. And this is great. This is a great opportunity.
Okay, so now let's get out of here, go in the street of Paris, and have Corinne as a tour guide.
I will do my best. I'm not sure I'm the best tour guide in the world.
Okay, there's nothing better than being guided by a real Parisian. So let's go to your favorite place in Paris. What would it be?
I would say my neighborhood, the 18th arrondissement, but not on the touristical side, on the other way.
So just to figure out the map of Paris, what is the
north of Paris, bottom of Montmartre?
Okay.
I would say.
So Montmartre is in the 18th arrondissement, right?
The top.
Okay.
Not as top as here, but top. On the bottom of Montmartre, you've got all the neighborhood, which is the rest of the 18e, like near the mairie, the mairie du 18e.
The city hall, yeah.
Yeah, and quite a lot of, shopping streets, food streets, restaurants, bars, and everything. And this is very active, very dynamic. So quite a good place just to go on and walk around and everything. So
how can you feel the soul of Paris there?
You can go everywhere in the street. In fact, you've got all Parisians. In this part, it's really local people. So you don't have so many tourists if you go down, not at Montmartre. And so you feel the families with their children, shopping there, the senior people. The advantage of this neighborhood is that it's very mixed. So you've got all categories of people. And this is probably one of the best mix that we have. We've probably the 19th of the 19 also. But this is interesting to be in this neighborhood because when you go on other ones, it's very dedicated to one type of population. This is not the case in these neighborhoods.
Okay. So let's move again and change neighborhood. What would be your other choice?
We can go differently in the other way, on the left bank, on Saint-Germain, or which is still a good place anyway. So Saint-Germain-des-Prés, of course.
So it's a much more touristic area.
Yeah, much more touristic, but probably if you go in the same, not exactly on the Saint-Germain-des-Prés where we have the Mago or best places we know, but more towards the Bon Marché, Boulevard Raspail, Rue de Babylone, this Boulevard des Invalides were not at all interesting places finally. So I lived there before, so I know quite well the place, and it's not at all the same typology of people, but it's interesting to see that because it's beautiful. So beautiful places, beautiful buildings, very interesting also to just get on foot and walking there.
So we cannot explore anywhere. We're French, so we need a place to have lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
So what would it be? What would be your recommendation?
So probably any kind of bistro Parisian bistro, just serving probably some very well-known specialties, but with short circuits. And I would privilege the local restaurants, local bistros. So not the ones that you find in all the guides or everything, but the Parisian ones. So in the 7th arrondissement, you've got the Café Max or Bacave. It's one of my French chefs.
So can you spell it? Just
Bacave, B-A-C-A-V, in the 5th arrondissement. It's by Gilles Choucroune, who's a chef, former star chef. And it's very bistro Parisien, like the Café Max. It's very dedicated to pâté en croûte, specialties of Parisian products and everything. And so good kitchen for that. Mm-hmm. And if not, you can also go in the 18th. Of course, we've got plenty of restaurants, but also in the 10th and 11th. So I think every corner of the street, you've got so many restaurants, but be careful just to be sure that it is a Parisian restaurant, like agreed by Collège Culinaire or, Maître Restaurateur or things like that.
So it's a good tip. And do they have signs on the...
Exactly.
Okay.
Good tip is Collège Culinaire.
Collège Culinaire.
Collège Culinaire. Okay. It's formed by the
culinary college in English.
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's written Collège Culinaire, so you've got to see that.
Very good tip. So, of course, we're speaking of Paris intramuros, inside Paris. But Paris Je t'aime is also the wider Paris, the greater Paris. Yeah. So, if we were to go outside of Paris, what would you recommend to take us?
Well, probably, I would say two different places also at the opposite. So, around the Seine musicale in Boulogne. Mm-hmm. Great building, even from an architecture point of view, just interesting to see, and great program also, so entertainment program. And you've got the Parc de Saint-Cloud not very far, and the Seine, so that's pretty interesting also to see, and amazing promenade also on the 92 in the 92. And then probably in the other end, which is absolutely not the same thing, but much more dedicated to urban culture, Saint-Denis. 93, with the Puce de Saint-Ouen, which is amazing. When you've never seen that, you've got to go there anyway. That's an open air market, flea market, which is absolutely impressive. And then you've got all the street art avenue behind La Villette going to Saint-Denis, and then Saint-Denis, La Basilique. You've got quite a lot of, iconic things, quite secret still, but to be discovered.
We've had a big thing in the past years, which is Émilie in Paris.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say? Do you think that it's changed? It changed the attractiveness of Paris for Americans?
I'm not sure it changed, but it increased. When we have these sorts of events like TV series, movies. We used to say that there was a survey from the CNC, the Center for Cinema, Movie Center, that said that 80% of the people who have been exposed to a city during the movie want to go there. So this is a huge leverage for us and a good promotion. So I say thank you, Émilie, and I'm very happy, and I can confirm, because I know the producer I'm welcoming tomorrow, that she's going to Roma, but in fact she will be staying in Paris, so no problem with that. So we're happy to
Great news.
Yeah, great news. So we're always happy to have this, of course. This is really important for us to have this leverage. And I think the more you speak of Paris, the best it is. So I'm not sure it changes the image or it carries some different values, probably. It increased the level of attractiveness, of course. Arsène Lupin was the same. Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. We had quite a lot of them. But even Miraculous for the kids. Great icon for the kids.
So movies, trade shows, Paris is really an attraction still.
Yeah, and this is also part of our missions. We were talking about that before, but probably 1/3 of our mission is really dedicated to attract also these people to come to Paris, to make sure that we ease the process also combined with the city to hold these productions to be there, then to attract the good events in Paris, to make a legacy to the territory and everything. So we're very active on that, to be sure that we're doing the right job also to make them choose Paris for their event.
So you've spoken of the hospitality and the visitor experience. How do you engage the tourist professionals to increase the experience of the visitors?
We created the Hospitality Manifesto. We launched it just before the Games. That was the pretext to do it. But of course, it will be lasting for years. And the idea is really to be sure that all the members of the Association of Paris Je t'aime are on the same page in terms of message that we want to carry and deliver to the tourists in terms of hospitality. And I would say the 3-4 topics are really of course, the sustainability, because we don't have a choice, actually, and this is really important. Inclusion and accessibility, which is absolutely critical for us also, actually. The local economy, so how they participate in the local economy, how we do contribute to this local economy behind the spend that the tourists are doing in Paris, and then the visitor experience. So that means all professionals who have signed, and there are 1,600 people signed that. So everyone is committed to make the best effort to achieve these goals. And so the idea is really to update, of course, the commitments that we have year after year, and to be sure that we're all on the same page. And I think this is key for the community, and being sure that all the professionals are committed to that. So this is a way of engaging them. And afterwards, we've created some digital tools which are at disposals of everyone. It's an application geolocalized with a map, referencing all the point of interest that you have around you, giving you the ability of taking your tickets directly, imagining your itinerary, putting in advance or forward the artwork that you can find in Paris. For example, the best baguette in Paris or the best croissant or things like that. So probably if we're all committed to deliver that and to promote that, that will also ease the process for the experience of the tourism.
So we are at the start of season 2025, which appear to be successful. Can you tell us about the trends after the Olympic? Is there an effect post-Olympics? And meanwhile, a lot of trouble due to the new Trump administration, which can be a bit disturbing for people coming to France.
Yeah, probably. But for the moment, it's more a leverage for us. So we don't see any decrease in the American demand for the moment. Probably they want to get some freedom here. So I don't know. So maybe that's a good thing for us, finally. I'm not sure it will last, but we will see. So wait and see. And we don't know. Anyway, I would say that the uncertainty of the world that we're in doesn't give us some very good indicators just to be sure that where we're going. So we don't know. So we will see. But for instance, the trends are pretty good. All green indicators everywhere. So we're approximately, I think, at plus 30% of air reservation, plane reservation for the next few months. We've had a beginning of the year which was quite good. So yeah, the trend is pretty good for the moment, and so we're hoping that it will last. But as we were saying, we never know. So everything can happen. So
we need to be very humble in this industry.
Exactly.
Everything can happen. We're speaking of the tourism professional, but also there is a lot of small jobs, very typical small jobs in Paris, which makes also the features of the Paris and the Paris culture. Can you tell us a little bit about these ones, 2 or 3 examples of small jobs in Paris?
Yes. In fact, hospitality is really carried by everyone. So we were talking about the Parisian before, so probably the people that you're just crossing into the street. But the guardian, the security guys, which is at the entrance of the Eiffel Tower, has a very important role also, because if he welcomes you with a smile, that changes everything. And same for the one in the elevator or the shop owners who welcome you at one point, but also the waiter. We always talk about the waiters. So the waiter at the bar and the cafe on the terrace, because it's important. So yeah, everyone has a role to play, I think. And I was somebody told me yesterday about a new initiative of a photographer. So I'm really willing to see that. I'm looking forward to it. Who captured every smile in the city. So every people he was crossing in, he was just taking a photo and catching the smile and talking to them, and people wanted to play the game with him. And so I found it very interesting, because these faces of Paris smiling, that's the best campaign promotion ever that we can have after the Olympics, probably. So I think happiness has to be part of what we do every day. So of course, all these people having small jobs are key to that, finally, much more important than anyone else.
Okay. Corinne, are you ready now for a few quiz questions?
Wow, I will try my best.
So a few tips from you. A novel or a book that a traveler has to read before he travels to Paris.
Well, that's a difficult one. I would say if you want a guide, but it's not a novel, we just issued a carte ville of Greater Paris, so that's interesting. So you can take it and read it. This is very interesting because it's the first time that we cut Paris into 8 parts, different parts, including center of Paris and the suburbs, which doesn't exist anywhere. So that's a new way of visiting Paris.
So say the name of the guide again.
Carte ville, it's from Gallimard, Carte ville Greater Paris.
Carteville, Greater
It exists
Paris.
in English. And then if I had a book, I have to choose a book. I would say either the novel from Colette with Paris Je t'aime, because it's Paris Je t'aime, so it's a sort of different stories about Paris and what she did in Paris and the discovery of different neighborhoods. And probably the other one would be all the books from Pierre Lemaitre or even Marc Lévy or Guillaume Musso when they are in Paris, because it gives you an insight, of the neighborhood, which is different. It's obviously stories and nothing real, but it's interesting to see the story that we have with that.
So we will write down your tips on the description of this podcast. One more question. An address where tourists don't go, but which is loved by locals.
Probably either the bar at the corner of the street.
Every street.
Yeah, every street. Because when you just go off in the street, you can see the little bar and take a coffee at the counter or at the terrace. And I think this is the best thing ever to do. I do it everywhere anyway, but in Paris, this is particularly good.
So if you were to have lunch in this kind of cafe, what would you order for lunch? Your typical French dish?
The croque-monsieur, or the hard-boiled egg mayonnaise, which is a must anyway. But my favorite in terms of dish is probably the breakfast. So the croissant or, the grilled bread, because we've got the baguette, which is great. The grilled baguette in the morning with the coffee, this is great.
Yeah, French are very serious about breakfast. A song that reminds you France.
Well, I'm still Parisian, so Eiffel Lovers, which is a new song from Serge Raffi from a year ago, probably, which is absolutely incredible.
So
I love that song.
Say it again so we can Shazam it. Eiffel Lovers.
Yeah, and the other one is La Seine from M and Vanessa Paradis.
I'm not asking you to sing it, but I wish.
No, I can't.
In a period of French history that you prefer, and why?
I would say now, anyway, because I'm always a girl which is very focused on her time. So I don't want to live in another time. So this is the timeline I'm good at, and I'm willing to be there because it's very interesting, even if it's very moving, because we don't know where we will be and how it will move and everything. But I think it's also a period of opportunities. So this is interesting. And if I was just a few years back, I would say that COVID was a very interesting period also. So even if it's not a good, probably, I don't know if people do say that, but honestly, I think it was a period which was absolutely incredible. So I'm pretty happy to have lived that. Mm-hmm. It gave us also the opportunity of transforming some things and change probably our perspective on different things. So if we take the good of it, this is pretty good and pretty interesting. So let's forget about the bad things about that.
So on your seat, we will host a philosopher called Ayam Sio, which will be on your seat soon. Do you have any question for Ayam?
Maybe to ask her if how she would see the integration model. We've got a real issue in Paris with integration globally, inclusion and everything. So probably her perspective on that, how we should do. Maybe we missed some things, I don't know. But I think it's a value which is very important for all of us. And so we still have to promote that. But we can see the limits of the system actually, so how we can help with that. So maybe she has some clues.
We will ask anyway. Who would you like to see on the À la Française podcast?
if it's someone quite well known, probably Thomas Joly or Cédric Grolet, or people who are the lights of Paris and who makes Paris shine, because they are always there and they are real ambassadors of what we do and the DNA of Paris. All these creators, new generation of creators. But at the same time, I would say I would be much more interested into having some anonymous faces. Probably the small jobs we are talking about. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting to see how they, perceive the tourism, what's their relationship with that, and what's their relationship with the city itself. So probably a lot of questions to ask to them.
Very interesting. And Corinne, a quote to finish. You can say it in French or English.
I don't know. No, I would say in English because I always say that, but Paris is always a good idea, as our friend Hepburn was saying. Well, supposedly say. And I would say also probably that every period and every time is an opportunity for changing. And so we still have to be very much paying attention to that, what's happening, and being constantly on the move. And probably Paris is doing that.
That was very interesting. Thank you very much, Corinne Menegaux, to be the host of the À la Française podcast.
Thank you.